Unpopular opinion, part-time just is not the magic fix that you're hoping for. Now, if you are a healthcare professional who is feeling overwhelmed, I would bet good money that someone, maybe a leader, maybe a colleague, or even a well-meaning friend, has given you the advice to just go part-time. And I get it. When I was drowning in work, I heard the same thing over and over and over again. And I was told that it was the key to happiness. And for a while, I thought, maybe they're right. Maybe part-time is the only way to get my life back. Hi there, I am Dr. Santina, or Tina Wheat. I am a family physician educator, and I am a career and life coach who is dedicated to helping healthcare workers control their chaos and find calm by rediscovering their purpose. And today, we are talking about the truth that often gets left out. Going part-time is absolutely not the magic fix for burnout. Now, you might be telling me, well, that person went part-time and they're a lot happier. And it's true. For some people, reducing hours does help. But for many others, it does not solve the real problem. In fact, I would say as many people went part-time still feel miserable. And today, I am going to spend some time telling you why. By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of what actually helps when you are feeling overwhelmed, so that you can make an informed decision about your next step. Okay, let's get into it. So we're going to start about the problem with this advice. Why cutting hours isn't always the right answer. So problem number one, you might just still be overworked. A lot of people assume that fewer hours automatically means that they will feel less stress. But in reality, your workload doesn't always shrink to match your schedule. Instead, you might be expected to fit the same amount of work into just fewer days. And that might mean more patients per shift, more charting that's squeezed into your quote unquote off hours. It might be the same number of responsibilities, just crammed into less time. So instead of working less, sometimes in this scenario, you are just working faster, and that is not balance. That is just compression. If it's not that, then you might not have the prorated amounts of after-hours calls or mandatory trainings and other work that fills that extra time. So you just might have more work than the time that was cut down. So then there's problem number two, the financial and career trade-offs. Going part-time often comes with huge trade-offs like losing benefits. The health insurance or retirement contributions might significantly decrease. A smaller paycheck that doesn't actually feel worth the decreased hours that you've taken. And it might potentially impact your career opportunities or loan repayment programs because some of them require a specific amount of hours. For some people, these sacrifices are worth it, but for others, it might just add more stress. And then there's problem number three, the time-filling trap. Have you ever had a day off that somehow just did not feel like a day off? It happens all the time, right? That's what happens when you don't set boundaries. Even if you cut your hours, work has a way of creeping back in, answering emails, taking calls, or feeling guilty for not being available. So if you don't change how you approach work, simply working less will not bring the relief that you are hoping for. So you might be wondering, if cutting hours isn't the magic solution, then what is? The truth is, there's not a magic bullet, there's no magic cure, but there are things that do actually help when you're feeling burnt out or overwhelmed. And I'm going to share some of those right now. The first is setting boundaries. Reducing your hours does not help if you don't also reduce the expectations that are pushing you towards burnout. That means learning to say no without guilt, setting clear limits on your availability, delegating tasks instead of taking on everything yourself. If you don't do these things, burnout and overwhelm will just follow you, no matter how many hours you work. The second is learning to recover. You can't just remove work. You have to replace it with actual rest and recovery. That means you have to prioritize your sleep. You have to have hobbies and activities that energize you. And you have to allow yourself to have real downtime, not just fill the extra hours with more responsibility. You have to use your time intentionally. Instead of just working less, think about how you can work differently. That might mean negotiating for a more flexible schedule. It might mean shifting the structure of your work week. And it might mean focusing on the parts of your job that fulfill you and less on the parts that drain you. Balance isn't just about the hours worked. It is about how you work and how you feel afterwards. Going part-time doesn't help if you don't actually also use each of these strategies. But those strategies can be done on their own without you going part-time. So if part-time isn't an option for you, or you are realizing that it might not be the best thing for you, then I want to share some other ways that you can create more balance. One of those ways might be flexible scheduling. Instead of working fewer hours, could you adjust when you work to fit your life a little bit better? Some people find that small changes, like switching their shift times or adjusting their clinic day, can make a huge difference. Then there is job crafting. If certain parts of your job drain you more than others, can you shift your role? Maybe you take on more teaching or administrative work or leadership roles that aligns with what energizes you. Or vice versa, maybe you hate those things and don't do them anymore. Then there's remote or hybrid work. If your job allows it, working from home, even one day a week for admin or charting, can free up some time and reduce your stress. Then there is strengthening your boundaries. No matter what your schedule looks like, the best thing that you can do is reinforce your boundaries. Protect your personal time. Say no to obligations that don't serve you, and don't let work creep into every corner of your life. And remember that boundaries aren't saying no to others. They're saying yes to yourself. So here's the bottom line. Going part-time might help you, but it's not the magic fix, especially if you don't bring in other changes. If you don't change how you approach work, burnout will follow you, whether you work 60 hours a week or 20 hours a week. The real solution is setting boundaries, prioritizing your recovery, and using your time intentionally. Now, if you are ready to start making changes that actually work, I invite you to join my free masterclass, Pathway from Chaos to Calm. Inside, I will walk you through practical strategies to create balance, whether you go part-time or not. If this sounds interesting to you, you can click the link below to register. Let's build a career that works for you without the overwhelm. Let's get you from chaos to calm. And if you found this helpful, I hope you'll like this video and subscribe to my channel. And importantly, share it with someone else who needs to hear it. Remember that I am always grateful for you. I hope I see you next time. Take care.